We're live and we're live. Welcome to the Diren Kartal show.
Welcome to another episode, and today I've got my man Ed from
Bournemouth, Dorset, England, world. Could have started better.
Nah, bro. This is what it's all about, bruv. I love it. So I met Ed in Bali, actually. Bruv, how did we meet? You were following me on Instagram, innit?
Yeah, and I just looked at where you were, went there, wanted to get an autograph. You said no. It was awkward.
No. Don't
nah. It's Lord, isn't it?
Lord, that's right. Ed's actually friends with Lord, and you train in the same jiu-jitsu gym as Mr. James Smith, right?
Yes, that is correct.
White belt, mate. White belt, bruv.
Well, don't tell everyone that.
No, but you're white belt, but fuck, you came for me that day, bro, when we rolled in Bali.
Well, you have to put it all out there, don't you? Especially when you're training with someone new, like, well, I mean, got a shine, no bitch. Like, I'm coming in.
Right? Wait, do you reckon? I honestly think, or could be wrong, I reckon we must have had Corona when we were there.
I didn't feel like I had it.
Neither did I. But check this out. I don't know if you remember, there was a boy there from Sydney, and he was rolling he kind of like me, little kind of darkish fella from Western Sydney. He went back to Sydney and told
yes, I remember him.
Yeah, he told everyone. He told James, and messaged me, "Hey boys, just a heads up. I was positive for coronavirus, and we were rolling with him for like a week or two, which is mad.
Mate.
Yeah, at the time, but we didn't get any.
It's not what you expect to fucking catch in Bali, is it?
No, yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
More likely to catch STTs. No, I'm joking.
No, none of that. I meant like barley belly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, my bad. All right. So Ed's actually on today. Number one, I just think he's a really nice guy, and secondly, he's released his own podcast and a new page. Do you want to tell everyone a little bit about it?
Yeah. So I released a Need to Read. So it's a podcast about books. It's not really what anyone would have expected, especially people that have like known me previously.
I didn't expect that. And what's great about it is the concept of it, I think, is genius because...
Nate, thank you.
Honestly, no, it's so simple because I'll be honest, I struggle to read, man. My concentration when it comes to reading is so bad. So instead of reading, I usually listen to audiobooks, right?
Yeah.
And I usually even ask the person, like, is this an easy listen or is it an easy read or whatever?
Yeah.
I'll do it. Whereas the page Ed has done now and the podcast he's doing is pretty much talking about the book, right? You talk about the books, why you've read it and what you've got out of it, and why people should either read it or not, or listen to it or whatever. Exactly. Yeah. So today, So today, we're going to give you guys, Ed's going to talk to me. He's going to educate me on books and educate you guys. Give it a go and educate you guys and give you some pointers on maybe what to read and what not to read. Yeah?
Yeah, for sure. I think the main reason that I did it is because I'm always scrolling through sort of reviews, and people on review sites are just so irritating. And then there's a couple like book podcasts. In fact, I didn't actually listen to any before I started, but I saw a couple Instagrams, and it just seemed to me like those people, they're there and anyone can pretend to present well and like read off almost like a script. I loved how the book was written, and he's got a great vocabulary, this author, and he really tells the story well. Whereas I just like, well, the thing is, the book was shit, or like the book was great. And obviously I can sort of articulate what I got from the book, and that's sort of, it's like half and half. I'm either half like, I mean, in fact, I'm full real person, but I'm half like talking properly about it and just chatting shit.
Because at the end of the day, I mean, like, we might read the same book, but I might get something completely different out of it than what you might. Is that right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's good. And I think when I listened to a couple of his episodes, he was talking about it from his point of view, as well as what other people can get at as well.
Yeah.
Innit?
Yeah.
So
essentially,
it is. And I feel like your personality comes out more on your own podcast as well, compared to like when I met you, which is great because now you're just building on it and it's wicked. So how many books have you got today? What are we going to talk about?
Mate, we can talk about as many as you want. I've got a list somewhere. I chucked it. I chuck like 7 down on the list.
Sick.
And mate, whatever ones you want to sort of, there's going to be books that branch off each book.
Okay.
So
all right, cool.
We've spoken previously about the books that you've sort of listened to and you've read,
Yeah.
which obviously Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Bruv, that
big
one,
orange one.
That one, that I haven't read the second one because there is a second one, right?
Yeah.
But the first one, I was going through a really shit time in it. It was probably the worst time I've ever been. It was in Sydney before, like I left Sydney.
Yeah.
And it was one of these books, and my client actually told me to read it. One of my English clients, he was like, "Diren, you need to read this. It's perfect. It's about not giving a fuck." And I was like, "What? That sounds perfect.
That's me.
Sounds perfect to me." But like the book itself, it's not actually just about not giving a fuck about anything. It's actually the way he's talking about things is like giving a fuck, but about the right things.
Yeah, it's about I kind of look at that book as a way to sort of just juggle your life shuffle your life. Let's say you've got a deck of cards, they're all skew. Yeah. And then you shuffle them and somehow they just come back together. So he talks about like my main point in that book is like leading a value-driven life.
Yeah.
So like whatever your values are, let's say like for you, like family values, I know that's like strong for you, like being a good friend and just like helping people.
Yeah.
And you seem like a pretty happy guy because you seem to just live by those values and you're not worried about necessarily like the success. Success has kind of come hand in hand with you living that life, not necessarily like the friends and the family part, but helping people and getting the whole neat concept out to the world. That's where your success has come.
You know what's funny? The whole Neat Up 24/7 thing, me getting my steps up a lot, was actually me listening to that, walking around.
Really?
Yeah, me listening to that because when I was like such in a bad place, my way of getting out of it was just walking and listening to an audiobook. Because I've tried, like, I had the book as well. I bought the book and I was like, I'm going to try to read it because everyone's always like, Diren, if you want to improve your spelling, your grammar, your writing, whatever, you should start reading it and it will help you. But I was like, yeah, but I want to get the information in as quick as possible. And for some reason, when I'm walking and listening to someone, it just goes in way better. Sometimes, this probably wouldn't happen with you, but when I read, sometimes I have to go back and read the page again because I didn't fucking get it.
The thing is, I have a podcast about books, but like, I'm not a great reader by any means. Like, I've got books on my shelf that I'm just like, well, the words are too small and I'm not touching it.
Yeah. How many books?
It's just intimidating.
How many books have you read?
I think since like Subtle Art was probably one that started off for me, but it's about 80 in the last sort of like 2 years.
80?
Yeah.
Bruv, that's crazy.
I know, and the thing is, I'm still thick, but like we're getting there.
But you say that, but I don't think you're thick at all. I think you're actually very intelligent, and that's why I wanted you to come on, innit, and talk about it.
Yeah.
But so 80 books. What is your favorite, or is there like?
Mate, the thing is, when it's like that volume, it's real hard, and I'll read a book. And it will instantly become my favorite. And then after a couple of weeks, I'll sort of like settle down. Like, actually, no, that wasn't my favorite, but it's right up there. Yeah. But like Subtle Art's right up there. What was one of the books that stood out for me after that? One I've read recently is Man's Search for Meaning, which is pretty similar to the concept of Subtle Art, but it's written and it was published like 1940s. It's written by Viktor Frankl. Okay. So he was stuck in a concentration camp in the Second World War. Yeah. And he sort of wrote his memoirs after that.
Okay.
Have you heard of Stoic philosophy?
No. Go for it.
So Stoic philosophy is like an ancient Greek philosophy, came about over like 2,300 years ago. So it's been around for longer than...
That's probably why I don't know it. It's Greek, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. So I forgot the beef.
No, I'm joking. Carry on.
But in the book, it's just like firstly, he describes what life's like in the concentration camp. And bro, we have got it so easy. And right. I read it at the start of lockdown. So I was thinking like, I feel a little bit trapped. I feel like I'm like something's controlling me. And then I read this book and I was like, oh yeah, no, this is a breeze. No one's actually telling me to do anything apart from stay inside.
I think I listened to the review of this one. Is this the one where correct me if I'm wrong, is someone having sex with their cousin.
Nah, that's the righteous mind. I'll talk about that in a moment.
I was like, what's going on there?
Yeah, mate. Some books got some shocking stuff in it, but that is one of the books I've written down.
Right, cool. You can talk about that in a minute, but tell me about what you were saying about
so Stoic philosophy essentially is about understanding that you can't control what's happening to you, but of course, like, you can choose your attitude.
Yeah. Okay.
And there are a lot of people out there that are stoic, but they don't know it. Like, my dad's a good example of that. When I started reading about it, I was like, oh yes, this guy's a stoic, but he literally has no idea. Stuff just sort of breezes over him, and he just lets it happen without getting upset about it, and just chooses, right, what's the next step when something shit happens. So let's say something bad happens to you. You obviously can't go back in time and change that. But what you can do is choose your attitude towards what you do next. And that's the whole idea of sort of stoicism. There's a lot of different points within it, but one of the quotes from Viktor Frankl, I think, is the last of a man's freedoms. So you can take everything from a man apart from the last of his freedoms, which is his attitude towards any given set of circumstances. So
okay, that's pretty cool. And it's mad because my dad's like that as well. Like, my dad, my parents pretty much come from nothing. So for example, like, when I was younger, like, bills would come through where they owe a bill somewhere, or they owe somewhere money or whatever, and my dad wouldn't like stress about it at all. And in the back of my head, like, I'm younger, so I'm like, in my head, I'm like, shouldn't you guys like do something about this? My dad's always been like, don't worry, it'll happen. Something will happen. Like, my dad's very good at manifesting shit, and I think I got that from that.
Yeah, nice.
You know? And I feel like, just like your dad, he probably doesn't know it either. Well, even me, I don't know it either, but maybe I'm like that as well. I
feel like you probably are.
Like, I'm just like, I don't stress about it. I just do what I can and just crack on, you know?
Yeah.
And so would you recommend that book for people to read?
100%. And it's not very long either. You find with books that are written a long time ago, like, they are a bit wordy and they're very proper in the way that are written. Obviously, like, nowadays, like, new age authors, they're not as sort of proper and as fancy with their words. So it's difficult in places, but you get the concept of it quite quickly. And there's another thing in there about sort of happiness, and like the pursuit of happiness being like a paradox. And he says, instead of sort of chasing after happiness and chasing after success, you should just search for meaning, like a sort of meaningful work or a meaningful sort of goal. And that, instead of pursuing, you ensue the happiness. Like, it comes as a result of that if you don't reach for it. Because, like, we've all seen the film with Will Smith. Like,
oh mate, what a powerful film!
What a film!
And I feel like that I think that's an important point. Like, the other day, a 21-year-old sent me an inbox. I did a post about it, like, and it was like, there is a lot of pressure for people in their 20s, like, for us to, like, there's a pressure of trying to be successful. Like, constantly trying to be successful, because everything we see on socials, like Instagram, this, cars here, girls, clubs, this and all of that and all that. I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of me with the whole club scene.
But you get sucked into it a little bit. But
you do. But I don't.
It's not your success, is it?
No, it's
someone
not.
else's.
That's right. You don't. I don't see it as. I just see that as, oh, we're just out for a drink. I don't see it as I'm gonna chase that. That's success. That is what happiness looks like. And I remember even thinking when I was like, because all I ever wanted, like, I just wanted to be a footballer, right? And what I didn't realize till later on is, and I've got a lot of mates that are footballers, not all of them are very happy. Like, they've got all the money in the world. They're pretty lonely, and they're not as happy as what I thought they would be. Because before I was like, you're rich, you can go wherever you want, you can do whatever you want. But that was what I thought happiness was when I was younger. When reality, I don't think I ever really wanted that. And I think a lot of people in their 20s are like forcing for things to happen without even knowing that it's probably something that they don't enjoy. I mean, you were living in Sydney, right?
Yeah.
And where are you now? What happened?
Well, I had to come home because of the coronavirus, isn't it?
Bro,
they shut their borders and they locked me out. I had to leave my stuff in the flat. Obviously, shout out to Lord, because she sent my stuff back and sorted my flat, which is so ledge. Yeah. But I had to come back here. I'm not going to moan about it. Like my Aussie visa's probably like gone. But what can I do? Like I can't call Australia, but can you just please let me in? And be like, why would we let you in over everyone else?
Exactly. Yeah.
Just got to crack on and do what I can.
With your new hairstyle, I mean, you could go in there as Eminem, you know.
Yeah, it's true. God, or like Ellen DeGeneres, or there's a lot that comes with this.
There's a lot. That's right. So that's one of the. Is there anything else you want to add on that book?
I think that book is sweet. Actually, if you're reading it, if you're going to read it, the end is about his therapy, because he was a psychotherapist.
Okay.
He created logotherapy. Unless you're actually interested in like psychology and stuff like that, I probably wouldn't bother reading that bit. I'd just read the 70 pages in the middle that's like his story of the concentration camps.
You said it's a bit of a harder read than other things because it's an old author. Is that right? So say someone like myself, my English isn't the best. Let's be honest. It's like I'm good at speaking, but when it comes to reading things, it's not the best. Would you recommend for me to read that or listen to it?
I'd say listen to it. The thing is, like, reading, like, it's called a need to read, but I don't care how people consume the books. Like I don't think people care if I care.
Yeah.
But I'd listen to it if I was you. If it's something that interests you, like, actually, I'd quite like to know about that. If you ever feel like you're stuck or you can't really do much about a circumstance, listen to that and just be like, well, I'm not in a concentration camp. I can definitely take something from this guy.
Yeah. Cool. Wicked. What's the next book you got on the list?
Well, let's talk about that one about the incest.
So okay. Yeah. I like that review. That review was funny. It cracked me up. I was like, oh, incest. I know.
Mate, it was like, and the thing is that's actually quite a dense book. So it's written by a social psychologist called Jonathan Haidt, and he looks into like moral psychology. And the book's called The Righteous Mind: Why Good People Are Divided by Politics and Religion.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I think it was around the time of Brexit, and I was like, the thing is, I know nothing about politics. Yeah. And I was like, well, how about I understand why everyone divides about it, and then maybe I'll be able to sort of pick a side a bit better.
Yeah.
The first chapter, he comes up with these like thought experiments.
Yeah.
And one of them is, so a brother and sister go on holiday to France in the summer. They're both virgins. They're both over the age of 18, and they get bored one night and fuck knows why they decide to have sex. But wait there. So they decide to have sex. She is on the pill. He wears a condom, and they just decide they're never going to do it again. Never going to tell anyone. So there's no risk of like a deformed baby.
Yeah.
No one's going to know about it.
Yeah.
Why is it wrong? And it's so annoying because you can't think of a solid reason of why it's wrong apart from, oh, that's fucking gross. Like that's buzz. Don't do that.
Yeah.
And that made me think. And then there was another thought experiment in there about a woman in a village in India. She was a widow in her like 60s, and she had like fish for dinner.
Yeah.
So Western country, like Western culture, we're like, well, that's sweet. Eat what you want, darling.
Yeah.
Like, I'd have fish and chips. Like, get on with it.
Yeah.
Whereas the culture sort of in that village, I think, and I don't want to be wrong here, but I'll go, I think it's a Hindu culture where fish is seen as like an aphrodisiac.
Okay.
And that she's disrespecting her dead husband by eating like an aphrodisiac. So they see it as wrong, as we're like, well, like, eat whatever, who cares?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, they think they're right and we think we're right.
Yeah.
So who's actually the one that's in the right? Because there is no right. It's all sort of subjective, like subjective truths in the world.
Yeah. That's it's mad. Like, it's funny that I've realized like a lot of kids, when you were growing up, like would you hear about politics a lot?
Not really, mate.
Yeah,
because nowadays I reckon they do though.
Yeah, but nowadays probably because you're older, you probably pay more attention. You probably pay more attention. Whereas like when I was growing up, politics was always around because Turks, Kurds, my parents, because they were political refugees, it was like there was such a political divide in the country with so many people. Like the government would create division between people to create certain, basically, Turkey's. There's going to be people that don't agree with this. It's very corrupt when it comes to politics. You know what I mean? It's very corrupt, and I feel like here, people don't even if you voted right wing or left wing, I feel like it's not actually going to affect your life as much as it would in, say, a country like Turkey or somewhere else. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Is there more power in the government over there? Like,
oh, mate, the guy's President Erdogan is pretty much a dictator. So,
yeah.
yeah. So there's a
like
lot.
the film.
yeah. That's a funny film, man. But yeah, he's pretty much in control of everything. Put it like this: when stuff was kicking off there, he got all the educators arrested.
So he's literally controlling everything.
Yeah, but in a way more subtle way than, say, like
just killing them.
Yeah, exactly. In a way more subtle way.
Yeah.
But so if you want to read that book, right? If you don't know about politics, is that a book you go to? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, 100%. It was the most interesting thing, apart from obviously those thought experiments, is the origins of left and right. And like everyone's like, oh, I'm a lefty, I'm a righty. Or not in terms of like hands or whatever, but in terms of politics. It came from like when the French
could be both. Yeah, you're very talented.
Yeah, when you get bored, you just try it out. But it was like a French Revolution. It was like late 1700s. They were just like, right, everyone in favor of change, go sit on the left. Everyone in favor of like keeping like tradition and the monarchy, go sit on the right. So that's where the origins of like those who are in favor of change sit on the left, and those in favor of just like keeping it how it is sit on the right. And I did a post about this the other day because I just wanted to write something because I'm trying to get into that.
Yeah,
I was talking about everything with like the Black Lives Matter movement at the moment.
Yeah.
I feel like there are some people out there that are maybe wary of supporting it too much, which is so dumb because they don't want to be seen as a lefty. Like if they vote conservative, and I'm like, this isn't about left and right. Left and right is an absolutely made up term. You just need to be moral and in favor of changing the world for the better.
For the better, 100%. And it's crazy. Like you see so many people, and I feel I do kind of understand why some people hesitate to post and all of that, because if you don't know much, if you're not like, for example, where you live now, how multicultural is it?
Mate, so bad. Dorset has just had you're 25 times more likely to be stop and searched like in the police if you're black than if you are white.
Really?
I had one like person of color. It was a refugee from Afghanistan when I was growing up through sort of like secondary school.
And that was it.
It's just predominantly white in Dorset for the most part.
So it's quite normal for you or whoever you went to school with is to lack understanding, and you wouldn't have learned much about different cultures because you weren't raised around them. Whereas I was raised with Africans, Jamaicans, Indians, Turks, all of that, all mixed up. So I have a good understanding of who's what, and I kind of understand their culture from the food they eat to the way they act. So I get that why some people like are scared to post because they don't know what to say. They don't know what is offensive, and they're scared to have a discussion about it because people are scared they're going to come across racist.
Mate, 100%. What is worse?
Yeah, I know. Is be safe or post something and then completely get like done for it, especially everyone with like big followings and stuff. But you got to do what's right.
It's like, don't judge me on my actions, judge me on my intent. So like if someone posts something and like they're really, really trying to like raise awareness for it or trying to like be a good person or just trying to get their point across to a good person, like people don't need to like shame them for that. I don't think. It's just like, right, well, cool, that's fine. Unfortunately, you got this bit wrong, but like let's educate you. It's like seeking to be seeking to understand before you're understood.
Yeah. And I think that is people are scared to have those discussions and to even ask for help because I guess they're worried just about looking stupid, really.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You know, sometimes I don't know something and I'm like, fuck, you know, I'm a personal trainer. I should really know this.
But the thing is, I'm thinking about you, is you're so honest about it. Like, if you're like, well, I don't know, whatever, like, teach me. You haven't got the ego that's like, well, I don't know. Like, you're open to learn. And I think that's what people need to be.
100%. I think people need to be more like that. Just so, because let's be, every life should be equal. No one should be treated differently because of how they look. Do you know what I mean? Like I shouldn't be able to come and call you Vanilla Slice, right? But you're looking kind
Oh,
of
well, I guess not.
now.
But whatever.
Yeah. So, okay. So that book, who's it for?
Anyone that needs to get an understanding of why people are different, and sort of, I think for me, that book just opened up my mind, and it made me look at the world in a different way. So like when someone does a certain thing, I'm like, wow, like, is it completely their fault?
Yeah.
Like I saw the post the other day, and it was like, you've read so much psychology when like someone does something wrong and you're trying to work out why they did it, as opposed to being angry about it.
Yeah. Oh, that's Bob, you know what's funny? Yeah. When people tell me stuff like this, right? It's like I learn stuff about myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't know what I am, but that kind of makes sense in why I question so many things, you know? And it's weird. Like, I don't know about you, but you know, when you travel, like I feel like you just learn so much more when you travel.
Mate, it's the number one thing people should do. They're like, especially like you're talking about that guy in his 20s, whatever he's thinking success. I'm like, mate, park that, go away.
Right? Like, when did you go to Sydney?
Mate, only in January.
Oh shit!
But like I've had an urge to like travel like all my life, because whenever like my family had money, it was like, right, holidays, let's go away somewhere different. Like I've been like places that so when I was in the Marines when I was younger, made a friend from Zimbabwe. He left with an injury, so as soon as I could, I went to Zimbabwe, and I was like, mate, take me where you wouldn't want to take me, so I can see it, so I can like understand.
Sick,
and I think some people have, like, I feel like I've got natural curiosity for that in the world, and some people don't. Like, some people don't like traveling, and then they'll never understand it.
They'll never
understand it. People on the fence, jump to the side that travels. Like,
mate, it's the best thing. It just opens up your mind, didn't it? Meeting, talking to people, just like even just having a conversation with some stranger that's not going to judge you for whatever you say, right?
Yeah.
Because when you're home, like when you're in your environment, I feel like people always have this perception of you, right? And you kind of, if you step out of line or say anything that they're not used to, they're like, whoa, what happened there? That doesn't sound like you. I'm like, me, man, this is me. I just said it.
You think that's so true.
You know, like, fuck you, man. This is me, right? You know?
So who are you to tell me what sounds like me? I think with me all day.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess one of the best things about traveling is when you're away from what majority of us do is a 9-to-5 job, is you can read a book. You have the time to
soak it in.
Do you know what I mean? Soak it in and think about it, like read a page and then think about it and then see something that links with what you just read. And whereas when you're in such a system where it's like 9-to-5 and you've got the same routine every day, you can't sometimes relate to the book that you're reading to until like I don't know about you, but I've read bits of books where I've like understood it later on.
Yes, mate. You read a book 6 months later, you're like, that's why it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, that's why I didn't understand it then, but I understand it now. You know,
because it will stay there. And like, you don't need to soak in the whole book. Like 300 pages. My brain's not good enough to soak in a whole book. I don't sit there writing notes on the book. I just read it, and what is important will stay.
Yeah, I guess anything you take from a book is a level of upskilling and expanding your knowledge, even if it is just a page or a paragraph. At least you've made the attempt and you're expanding your brain and opening your eyes a bit more. And
brain gains, bro.
Brain gains, bro. That's right. That's right. But next book. What we got?
Book. I'll hit you with a novel. So the other ones have just been like non-fiction. So this novel is probably what forced me to actually book my flight to Oz, because I'd booked a flight the year before.
Okay.
And then I bottled it for whatever reason.
You shit it. You were scared. You were comfortable in it.
Mate, I was like, the thing is, I didn't even like what I was doing. I was just going out every like Friday, Saturday.
What were you doing?
I was selling health insurance. I was working in the call center.
Oh, okay.
And it's because I was all right at it. So I was like earning all right money. So I was like, well, and obviously everyone tells you money's like what makes people happy. And I was like, well, I guess this is sweet then.
Yeah.
But I was kind of like wanting more. So I canceled my flight, and then I went on a holiday.
Yeah.
And so I went to Sydney and like sort of up and down the East Coast for 3 weeks. And then I was like, I need to come back here. This is like where I feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And I was like, and the thing is, like, I go out there, I don't really know anyone. I had like 2 friends that I knew that were in Sydney.
Yeah. And did you know Lord before that, or did you meet Lord there?
Met Lord in Sydney.
Oh, okay.
And
cool.
the book that I'm going to talk about now, when I met her in the coffee shop, she was reading that, and I was like, yeah, my guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's The Alchemist. The Alchemist by a guy called Paulo Coelho. I think he's Brazilian.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure. But it just follows the story of this like young guy who has a goal, and someone approaches him and it's like, oh, there's treasure for you, like in Egypt. He's in Spain.
Yeah.
I don't know what time it's set in, but there certainly wasn't like a flight. He had to hop on a boat and get like one of those like big caravans across the desert.
Yeah.
But it's about following your heart and also reading the omens and sort of like what the universe sort of tells you. And I always am a bit wary of that because I'm a bit like arty-farty, all the universe is telling me something.
Yeah.
And nowadays I find myself like, oh yeah, the universe is telling me something. I'm like, oh Ed, you're so what you used to take the piss out of. Like,
yeah.
And
that's barley, man. That's barley going into your head.
Yeah, mate, it literally is. But you take what's in front of you and you go with that, and you don't have to worry about that one set goal. It doesn't matter if you stray off the path. It's about following the omens that sort of pop up in front of you. If you have an idea, don't be wary of going for it because it might disrupt your end goal. Just go for it because you can always head back to that path afterwards.
That's such a good point. And I feel like so many people like say no to things because they feel like it's going to affect their end goal. And the funny thing about end goals is, I don't know if you get to an end goal and then you do another goal anyway. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just like, I look at it like chapters. Every time, like when me and Smith either been on tour or traveled or left London, left Sydney, like we get upset. And then we also get happy because it's like, this is the next chapter now.
Yeah.
This is the next
something
chapter.
New.
Yeah. Instead of like reminiscing so much, which I'm not going to lie, I have been fucking doing in isolation, but
mate, that podcast,
which, oh, cut off there a little bit.
Probably not doing fair points. 3 boys, I bet it's giving you a little bit of the FOMO. Oh no, my internet.
No, it's all right. Back now. You're all good.
All right, sweet.
Yeah. What were you saying?
I was just saying, I bet you're getting a bit of FOMO with their podcast.
To be honest, not really. The FOMO. I wasn't getting FOMO on the podcast. I was getting FOMO of just hanging out with my friends.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, because we can't do that here. Like, I would love to do the same thing with my friends here. Get a couple of my mates on. When James here, get James on.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? But we can't do that now, and I guess it's just a bit. But again, it's just one of those things. Like, there's no point worrying about what we can't have now, innit? Do you know what I mean? Just kind of just crack on with what we do have and just wait for the next chapter, I guess. Okay, so what was the name of that? What was the name of that novel?
So The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho.
And then, is that something you suggest people to read?
Yeah, I think anyone in their 20s or younger or older that doesn't really feel like they know what they want to do, or they feel like they do know what they want to do. So I suppose everyone.
Yeah.
That's waffling 101 for you there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was one of the most sort of powerful, and everyone takes a different message from it, like we said earlier.
Yeah.
But the message sort of that rings true for most people is sort of like follow your heart, follow your dreams. And when I first read it, I was like, well, I haven't got any dreams. Then I was like, actually, yeah, I do. I'll just want to travel, and then I'll just see what comes up, and not being afraid of just waiting for the things to pop up that will be my like direction, as it were.
Do you think, when you say like, I haven't got any dreams, do you reckon at that point when you say stuff like that, do you reckon you've got dreams, but you're too embarrassed to say it out loud?
No, mate, I just want to make the podcast work at the moment. I want to write a novel, and I want to write a non-fiction book at some stage.
That's cool. That's a good goal, man. You should 100% do that, bro.
That's mate. It depends on what happens with the visas, but I'm hoping to head to Bali just for a year, and just put some money aside. I'm like, right, well, that's for you. I didn't go to uni or anything. Like, technically, I've got like 50 grand I can play with to. I mean, I haven't got it, but like, in comparison to people that go to uni, like, I haven't spent that on myself yet. So
yeah,
why not?
Why didn't you go uni?
Because I joined the Marines. And it was like, and then afterwards I left the Marines, did like a access to higher education course.
Yeah.
And I'm not being a knob, but like I only dropped 1 mark on the whole course. And I was like, well, what's the point?
Yeah. No, I hear
And
you.
I mean,
hear you.
I did regret that, but now, no regrets and all that.
Yeah.
Got me where I am today, and I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty chill. It's a nice place to be.
That's good, man. That's good. Okay, next book. Is this the third or fourth one?
We had Man Such Subtle Art, Righteous Mind.
This is the fourth.
Alchemist. This is the fifth.
Oh, this is the fifth.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the fifth? Lost
Connections by Johann Hari. So
everyone's spoke to me about this book, but I haven't. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't listened to it or read it yet. But talk to me.
So it's about depression. Like the subtitle is like why you're depressed and how to find hope.
Okay.
And he starts off talking about how he was on like holiday in like Vietnam, and he went to the market and bought an apple, ate into the apple. About 3-4 hours later, like he was shitting through the eye of a needle, being sick everywhere, had to go to a hospital. And the doctor was like, right, well, we're not going to give you anything to stop the symptoms. And he was like, well, why not? Like, I need to stop being sick. So he was like, no, because that's what tells us what's wrong. So he's kind of on like the anti-medication sort of scale for depression. So he's like, not like if you dull it with like medication, you're not reading the signals of your body because you're just like numbing it and ignoring it. And he's not saying like completely disregard it, because of course like there is chemical imbalances in people that can quite easily be fixed by taking some like SSRI sort of pills.
Yeah.
But he's more about sort of connecting to like meaningful values, meaningful work. So there's 12 sort of steps, which I can't remember all 12, that people disconnect from, which can lead to depression. And then he runs through sort of how you can reconnect to those in your life, to find a bit of hope and just be a bit sort of happier. And it's just the little building blocks that will not necessarily make you like beaming, but just it won't make you sad, and you'll feel like you're doing something worthwhile.
Okay. I hear what you're saying.
Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, does that mean I know a lot of depressed people? Because a lot of people have told me to read it. either I know a lot of depressed people, or they're giving me signals and I should maybe take one on.
Mate, I think there's a lot more people that are depressed than people let on, and it's one of them books. Mate, what I do is I buy people books, and I'm on a success rate of absolute 0% of buying girl a book and then converting into something more than just giving them a book and then I stop chatting.
Really?
I bought someone Lost Connection, and Lord was like, that's why you get in the friend zone all the time. And I was like, probably shouldn't shove books about depression down to people's throats like when I'm trying to pull.
Yeah, 100%. But okay, cool. So
I think everyone should read that one. And like I won't go too much into it. It is it's one of the best written books I've ever read. But I think it's everyone's responsibility to learn about that stuff, not necessarily for themselves, but like, what if their best mate's depressed? Their best mate doesn't recognize it. They've read this book and they're like, well, actually, I kind of see what path they're going down. Let's have a chat with them, make sure they're okay. Yeah. So it's about the greater good of like all the people that are in your life. So if I read it for me, it's just one person that I'm reading it for, in not necessarily a selfish way, but like it's helpful. Yeah. But if I read it for the benefit of the other people in my life, I can hand off little parts of knowledge that might just make them feel better.
Yeah, I hear you. And I also heard the author style of writing was actually quite amazing. Yes, I've heard,
100%.
100%. What about Atomic Habits?
So that book,
have you got down the list?
Yeah, it's on my list. Where is
it's on the list? It's on the list.
It is on there. But
I finished that book quickly.
It's good, isn't it? Like,
yeah, mate.
It's stuff that some people like, oh, I already know that, but you just need it like drummed in again. And I read it when I was in sales, so I was like, well, these are the habits that I'm going to do to become a better salesman, as opposed to like, these are the habits I'm going to do to have like a better life. Like the 1% method, like with Dave Brailsford.
Yeah,
he talks about like getting the cyclist to have the best pillow, shave their legs. Those little things stack up, And
I must be a cyclist then.
Yeah, mate, me too. But I got little legs. I got real good legs. If I was a girl.
No, 100%. That book did. Like, I feel like there was a few things that I felt like, I'm kind of already doing these, but it made me sharper with the stuff that I was doing, because it is, like you said, like the small things, like making your bed, brushing your teeth, doing an email every day, putting out content every day. Like, if I wasn't to post every day on social media, I wouldn't have followers. That's just it's like people
would be concerned for you.
Yeah,
like they're like, where's he gone?
Where's he gone? Or like, if people weren't training every day and they want results, you train and you stay consistent, those percentages are going to add up. Those habits are going to eventually form into habits that are going to stick, and to help you have that sort of lifestyle, you know. So I would recommend 100% for people to read that, because I have read it and I can say that with confidence. That and Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
They're the ones. You know what's so funny? Who did I speak to? I spoke to Siobhan, and she was like, I was coming on here, and she goes, well, Diren's only read Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
You know what? Yeah. You know what's funny? I've read more books. I've read like 5, 6, maybe 7 books. But you know what's weird? It's like, when someone talks to me about a book, right? When I talk to someone, I swear to God, I learn so much. Maybe it's me as a person. And I've noticed my dad is very much like this as well. And that's why James calls it the Turkish tingle, right? It's like, when I talk to someone and when they tell me things and the way they act around me and certain things that they do, I learn so much more from a person than, say, reading a book. This is why I didn't go to university, bro. Like, I wouldn't have been able to concentrate. I wouldn't have been able to do any of my exams. It would have stressed me out. Nothing would have gone into my head. But then when it comes to like personal training, and I did courses with personal training that made me a better coach. But when I was paying coaches that are better than me to coach me, everything they were telling me in that session was going into my brain, and I was applying it to my clients, and I just learned so much.
I like that. And the thing is, like, you're a chatty guy.
Yeah.
and you can see that you like get your energy from like having the conversations. And the nice thing is, like, chatting to you, it's like you're engaged. You can tell that you're listening when you're speaking to you, which is nice. It's good.
If this was a date, would you put out?
Mate, 100%. You've been looking in my eyes. You've been complimenting my hair.
Oh, that's good to know.
You're wearing a vest.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. Siobhan reads a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna get her on. I'm really excited for that, because she's gonna show me up big style.
Yeah, she reads a lot, and she goes back and reads it again and again. And I'm like, how many times have you read that? She's like, 3 times. I absolutely love it. No. That was a shit Irish accent, but yeah. But what's the next book?
Next book. We spoke about them. I think my list.
Yeah, grab your list, man. I'm good, bro. Grab that list, man.
All right. Happy by Diren Brown. So everyone knows Diren Brown, the magician.
Yeah.
Mate, he can write a hell of a book.
Oh, is that? Oh, it is him, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh,
mate,
really?
Such a good book. I actually listened to this one, and then I bought the book and I sort of reread little bits, and then I re-listened to it. So it's about 3 times I've kind of gone through the whole book.
Okay.
And it's kind of what introduced me to Stoicism, like what we were talking about with Man's Search for Meaning. Yeah. So the subtitle's like, why more or less of everything is absolutely fine. And he goes into just a lot about, there's literally that.
Yeah, really?
And he talks about sort of Stoicism. It's a nice introduction to that if people haven't sort of listened to it before. It's relatively long. It's like 600 pages, I think. Or if you listen to the audiobook, it's like 14 hours. But it's well worth getting into. And I feel like his voice, if you listen to it, it's just calming.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a hypnotist, isn't he? So like, it's got to be sort of calming.
Maybe he's doing some magic and you don't even know, bro.
Yeah, maybe he knew that I was going to come on a podcast and talk about it. That's
Maybe.
the whole idea.
I'll tell you what, that's a good way of marketing, boy.
Yeah, well, hypnotize everyone. I need to learn it.
Hypnotize everyone to go buy another book. That's why you read it 3 fucking times, mate.
Yeah, that's true. And the thing is, when he releases another one, I'm 100% buying it.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
It was that good. So if you were to tell people that's listening, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's listening today, what 5 books would you tell them to get, and in what order?
Oh, mate, that's so tough.
Think about it like what you would do, but then also try and recognize what people would enjoy the most as well.
If I get a blank slate, if I just take a person that just doesn't know a lot and I'm like, right, you have 5 books that are going to shape your personality and educate you as well.
Yeah.
Go for the Alchemist is like my favorite novel. I don't know if like everyone is into it. That's why I say it's quite good for sort of people that are in their 20s.
So would it be in the top 5 though?
Yeah, we'll chuck it in the top 5.
Okay.
The top 5.
Okay. Don't worry about the order. Just let's talk about the 5. So that's one.
The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
2.
James's book, not a diet book. I think in terms of like educationally, like
yes,
everyone needs to know that stuff, and also like the little life lessons he's got in there. So I'll chuck that in there.
Smith's very good because he's also done a lot of reading as well. So there's lots of little bits that you'll get that you can relate to with other books as well. So that's why 100% Smith's one as well. He's got another one coming too soon. Yeah,
plug. Out in 6 days for pre-order, yeah?
I think so.
Yeah, whatever.
I'll get my 10%, yeah?
All right. I have 1%. Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday.
Yeah.
I think once you understand your ego, you understand why you behave in a certain way, and it makes for sort of more authentic relationships when you can just drop back and be like, well, actually, I'm only really offended because I feel like you're attacking me, when really it's not it. It's all them. It's not me, it's you.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing about that. Ego is the Enemy, Alchemist, James' book. Indistractable. It's a new one. It's by a guy called Nir Eyal. It's like a non-fiction book. It's a bit business heavy, but it's about relationship with technology and just distractions in general in life, and learning like the loops that get you there. So when you're sat at home, like you're watching something, but you then pick up your phone and you're like, why can't I just dedicate all my attention to that? It's because everything is demanding our attention at the moment. Yeah. And it's only going to get worse.
It is, I know.
So that's quite an important book to read.
Okay, cool. So have you read, is it 0 to 1?
I haven't read Peter Thiel's one. It's, I
haven't
read it, but it's on the list.
I think it was a PayPal guy. Was it not a PayPal guy?
Yeah, he's Elon Musk's boy, isn't he?
Yeah. No, it's good. I read that one too.
Ah, nice. Yeah. There's a recommendation for me from you. I'll take that.
There you go. Yeah, 100% take it. Bro. Oh yeah. Also, before we end this episode, number one, you have to tell me your Nando's order. Tell me that now. I forgot to ask you that.
Yeah, this is easy.
Go on.
4 thighs.
Yeah.
Peri chips, garlic bread.
Done.
Because I want a burger and I also want thighs. So I've got 3 thighs and I got a chicken burger there.
No chips? Peri chips?
Chips are there.
Peri chips are there. Okay. Yeah. Good man. I forgot to ask you that at the beginning. Yeah. I got excited. I wanted to hear about the books. And also, lastly, you said that you want to give a book away. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct. The Lost Connections book, because I feel like that's a book that everyone should read or put some time into. Okay. I feel like if any of your listeners want that book, I have 1 copy that I'm willing to just pass on to someone, because I feel it's everyone's responsibility to read a book along those lines, and I'm happy to give that to someone.
Okay, wicked.
So we can work out how we're going to do that.
Yeah, tell people where they can find you.
Yes, so on Instagram, it's at a need to read, but with the number 2 as opposed to the word. And that's pretty much the best place to go. You'll find everything on there. Like you can sign up for like emails. I do 1 of them a week. It's not daily emails. Yeah. Like you boys, you can find YouTube, Spotify, Apple. and I'm working on a website so I can get on a little writing down and get
nice.
that.
And also, if you want to know more about the books that he spoke about in detail, listen to his podcast, which you'll see through his Instagram anyway. But anyone that wants the book, go onto his page, slide into his DMs, get his attention, and he'll pick someone for sure. And that book after. Thank you for coming on, bro.
Mate, thank you very much for having me.
Man, it was good having you. Yeah, it's
good to catch up, man.
Yeah, it's been good to catch up. And I'm gonna take those recommendations as well. I'm gonna go read myself another book, big man.
Yes. Right. See, that's what we need. Spread the books.
Spread the book. And for you guys that are listening, if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe. Give me a review. Give me that 5-star. Share it with your friends and family, and give me a virtual hug. Big love, and I'll see you guys next episode. Peace.